there, and welcome to another Coffee and Conversation. Um, I don't know what to say exactly, although I've got a lot to say at the same time. To a degree, I owe an apology to a lot of people because I guess you could say I very unwisely and somewhat self-righteously got into politics with some of my friends on Facebook, and well, we know how that goes sometimes, talking about religion and politics. And this is completely impromptu, what I'm doing here. This is kind of the 3.1 installment of this little sub-series of my channel, Coffee and Conversation. And as I showed you already, here's the coffee. As Jackie Gleason would say, how sweet it is, right? If you don't know who Jackie Gleason is, you can just Google him later. Um, I want to talk about shaving too, but about all I can say about it is it's the only thing keeping me happy in quarantine. And then after a really good shave, a couple of hours later, I'm miserable again. Some of that is because my elevator doesn't go all the way to the penthouse, and I'm both sorry and not sorry for ticking some people off with the politics thing because, I have some friends that very righteously, I think, speak their opinion, and somebody's out in the hallway laughing, probably wondering who I'm talking to. That's all right, though. I'm going to break away from the politics and apologies for a second to show you something I've shown on my regular videos before. This has kind of a story to it. Can you see all that? There was a moment when I had to break away from traditional shaving altogether because I left what few shaving things I had in another place at a relative's years ago, about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And so I was at a department store and I saw this thing I just showed you. The only bad thing about it was this was the razor that came with it, a kind of a Mach 3 type razor. Pretty and all that, but other than that, this got me back into wet shaving. Well, not wet shaving. I've been doing that anyway with disposables and things like that. And another sad thing about this is the brush. All those bristles in the center fell out over time. So one of you gentlemen that knows how to re-knot brushes, I might be talking to you one of these days and sending you some money to fix that. Otherwise, it came with this little bowl, and there was some not so great soap that came with it, but later on I put a puck of Arco in there, and that really works well. Quarantine. It's not so much quarantine per se that has me down. I think I've been using that as an excuse to let out a lot of anger. I have anger that has nothing to do with any of you, and also, if the truth be known, probably has nothing to do with our president, our vice president, our Congress. And it's also very easy and pleasant for me to talk to all of you on the other side of the pond because, quite frankly, I don't understand your politics at all. I understand a little bit of the British politics, but all I know is that there's some things I shouldn't say about politics, not to mention religion, although I hope those of you that celebrate Easter or Passover had a great holiday. I mostly slept through mine because I've been so depressed, all I do is sleep anymore. And I was really pleased with myself. Maybe I can put it up here somewhere. I taught myself using my phone here how to make my own meme. I had made a meme before, a different one, but one of the memes with the yelling young lady and the smarmy looking cat. I thought I was very proud of myself. That was a meme that I think shouldn't have bothered anyone. It wasn't meant to insult anyone. It was a joke about our current situation, the quarantine, and how technically we're not supposed to go out to church services or out to eat afterwards or anything like that because of social distancing and the virus and so forth. I'm calling this Coffee and Conversation 3.1 because there was a 3.0 that got erased along with a lot of my other videos, and there had been 2 before that. But I used to get really mad and upset and erase all of my previous videos, which in a way was good because each time I came back a day or 2 later after getting my mind and my emotions right, my channel actually seemed to improve, in my not so humble opinion. And speaking of which, there's a gentleman, I believe he calls himself IMCBD now. I don't know if he erased his previous videos, but he had changed the name of his channel a number of times, and he thought it had improved over time, and I took a look at it again, and yes, I told him I thought his channel had improved. And in my previous, and I'm kind of bouncing around on the subjects here, so bear with me, please. In my previous 3.0 version of Coffee and Conversation here, I had somebody trolling me. It wasn't about politics, it was just trolling me in general, and I let them get to me. And Douglas Smythe, who had never spoken to me before because he frankly didn't know who I was, I'm sure, he very nicely and wisely told me not to give that troll another minute of my time because that guy had even trolled the likes of a heavy hitter like himself. So it just goes to show you, we either have trolls or we have those of us who get bent out of shape from time to time over heaven knows what. I probably should be like people on television have traditionally had to be, maybe not so much anymore, because people in Hollywood here in the States really tend to speak their opinion about politics. Usually it's what you might call a liberal opinion, but not always. We have celebrities like Tom Selleck, for example, who are conservative. Excuse me. This is a combination of Folgers Silk coffee and some 8 o'clock beans that I had ground and put together in my coffee. So those of you that haven't fallen asleep or clicked off so far, thank you. And yeah, this is an apology of sorts, but at the same time, and I'm sure you all feel the same way, probably for different reasons, we want to speak our opinion because people, I can honestly say that men, and in some cases women, far better than me with better character, have fought and died in many of our countries so that we all might speak our mind. So I want to speak my mind sometimes, but at the same time, it's not good to lose friends. I even insulted an old boss of mine who I really have nothing against, but I disagree with his politics, and I verbally let him have it. That's just one of the things I've done lately. And although quarantine may have contributed to this, it's no excuse because I can find other things to do. Even if I'm depressed, I can just go to sleep, go have myself a nice nap, and when I'm not depressed, and I get depressed anyway, I don't need quarantine to get me depressed, and I don't need quarantine to social distance because I tend to do that anyway in my personal life. I generally don't like crowds and things of that nature. Wow, I'm making you all my psychologist right now, so I suppose I should pity you. And I'm looking around at this table of mine, which is a catch-all for mail and junk, and it's a good thing you can't see the other side of this table because it's a real mess right now. I'm just against this white background, my wall, which is all right. Oh, let's see, what else is there? No, there's a lot of good things in life and a lot of blessings, if you want to put it that way. I feel like the dog that occasionally gets a warm spot on the pavement. That's me. I've had a lot of fortunate instances in my life. Some of you might call them blessings. I hear people yelling out in the hall, or not yelling, they're laughing out in the hallway. I don't think they're laughing at me, but sometimes my paranoia gets the best of me. Well, I'm going to cut this short, I guess. I'm sorry I didn't have more to say about shaving. I did want to say that in a way, even those of us that disagree on politics or religion or what color shoes we should put on when we go out, um, we're all kind of brothers of the blade in a way. I forget the guy's name, Rich somebody. I want to say it's Rich Hansen. I used to think he went a little bit too far in his on his channel and his Facebook group where he would talk about all of us being brothers and so forth. But in a way, we are. If I didn't like the name of my channel that I finally came up with, Conversational Shaving, it used to be just Don F. Shaves or something like that. But if I didn't like that so much, I would be tempted to change the name of my channel and my Facebook group to Brothers of the Blade, which in a way we all are. Except I don't think we're all going to pick up broadswords and go fight any real battles. Fortunately for us, most of that has already been done for us, and of course we have our friends and neighbors, people that are still overseas, and I don't know, I guess there's still some American forces in Afghanistan and maybe in Iraq, I don't know. It's not always an easy world, and some people say that freedom is not free. But I think we all should be as free as possible, and we all should try to enjoy ourselves. And I'm not as completely miserable as I may come across sometimes. I don't smile that much because it seems like when I get too happy and start bouncing around, bouncing off the ceiling like a ping pong ball, I later come down. Some people come down like this. I come down like that. So that's why I try to keep on an even keel as much as possible. And I once had a history professor who was kind of that way. I was amazed at how nothing seemed to bother him. And he told me sometimes things make him mad, but instead of boiling, he just simmers a little bit and then he lets it go. Well, I guess that's about it for right now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. I needed to say all this for one reason or another. If there's a God, may he, she, or it bless us all. And if not, just try to hang in there. If I can do it, you can do it. And pretty quick here, I'm going to go take a shower and shave because I haven't done that yet. And hopefully we'll talk to you later in another one of these coffee and conversations. I'll talk more about shaving. Remember shaving. And yeah, that's about it. This is becoming like one of those operas where there's so many good places that could end, but it keeps going. So I'll bid you all adieu right now. And if you drink coffee, go have a nice cup of coffee or take a nap or do anything that'll make you happy. Have a good shave if necessary. Goodbye.